Ouachita One Table. Ouachita One Table podcast is a deeper discussion of issues facing our business communities. Over this series, we'll invite community leaders in businesses, the arts, nonprofits, culture, and government as we discuss the issues that strike at the heart of the Chamber's mission for the greater good of our parish. Topics such as workforce development, education, quality of life, economic development, and more. Ouachita One Table. This podcast is a partnership project of the Monroe and West Monroe, West Ouachita Chambers of Commerce and was produced by Godley Works Productions in the Louisiana Catalyst podcast studios at the Benoit Community Center. Now, here are your hosts, Roy Heatherly and Christopher Kelly.
This is Ouachita One Table, a deeper discussion of issues facing the business community. I'm Christopher Kelly. I'm with the West Monroe, West Ouachita Chamber of Commerce.
And I'm Roy Heatherly. I'm with the Monroe Chamber of Commerce. And today we have a very, very special guest because Chris and I wouldn't be sitting here if it wasn't
talking into this microphone.
If it wasn't for Quentin Durr. Quentin with Origin Bank, and he's celebrating his 15th anniversary coming up pretty soon, I think, and he's also an entrepreneurial guru. He's created this company, Catalyst, and he's going to tell us more about it. But Quentin, we are so glad you're here.
Well, thank y'all. Thank y'all for coming. Welcome to Catalyst Studios, powered by City of Monroe and Chase Bank. We've been blessed over the last couple of years. We started in 2019, and we were downtown on Desert, had a co-working space, and then this thing called COVID hit, right? So co-working was not a sexy thing at the time when COVID hit. No one wanted to be in the same room with anybody.
Right.
So we had to do like we tell everybody else in the small business, you had to pivot.
Right.
So we stepped back, reevaluated our model, and realized that we could not make this work in the model that we had. So we were lucky to have a relationship with City of Monroe. So the city said, hey, look, we want to support your endeavor. We have a space open at the Benoit Rec. So they brought us over here. And it was perfect. So we had this room, and the first thing we did was said we definitely want to move our podcast studio over and revamp that and put a lot of money. So we're probably at least $15,000 or more in this room. And then, of course, we'll have our conference room next door, which will be an area that members of Catalyst. So it's no cost to join, but we do want you to join so we can kind of keep a record of who that we're helping, but also for access and booking the conference room online on the website. You can book the podcast room online. So our website is now live, LouisianaCatalyst.com. And, of course, that'll allow us to schedule you in and get that prepared where even if you're a small one person just getting started business, you have the ability to act big. So you can use a conference room for Zoom calls, schedule your own podcast to use this as a platform, or simply just come in and use the internet to have a workspace. So that's kind of the overall objective that we wanted to do originally. Moving over here allows us to do that with a lot less startup expense. And of course, I'm thankful for Origin Bank to allow me to do this during and non-during banking hours. So because it's been a lot of time invested, but very rewarding because at the end of the day, it's been a lot of great relationships made.
Tell us some people that are involved with Catalyst. I know we've got a gentleman sitting in front of us that's helping us today, Rick Godley, but tell us about everybody.
This is going to be dangerous because I'm going off memory.
Yeah.
So first, Rick Godley has been a huge helping hand lately. So Rich came on board as our podcast director and has just a ton of experience in marketing and podcasts and radio. So this has allowed us to really take this up a notch with our production and post-production and offer this to everyone that's trying to start a podcast and a business, get their word out. So, Rick, we appreciate everything you do. I really could not do this without my board members. So Louisiana Catalyst is a 501c3. Mm-hmm. So I was a founder, but it's not mine. It belongs to the people. So Josh Mitchell and I, original founder, Friday Ellis, Douglas Harvey, Lauren Creekmore, Jim Malsh out of Shreveport. Going through the people trying to think of Marisol, you met over with Origin Bank as well. So that was kind of our founder group. now Duron Talley has come on board and been a huge help. We have Richard Royal, who's been there since day one. He's our treasurer. He writes all the checks and keeps me from going to jail for auditing purposes. He controls the money. I just spend it. Let's see. So far as really the biggest help when we first started doing this was reaching out to Delta Community College, talking with EPS and getting the vision and what that looked like. And first thing he told me was, you got to go over to Shreveport and talk to the fellows at EAP. So we did, and they got behind us and actually helped us start this through some grant money that they had. So NorLeap was a project that they had that was helping everyone for free on the east side of the state. So they helped us actually with some funding, some seed money to get going, so they helped us get open. Michael Eccles was huge help. I mean, he basically put us in a building, sponsored us, and did a lot of other things for us. So definitely without Michael Eccles, we would be not here.
So that original group, though, let's back up for just a minute. And what was the conversation that started that coalescing?
Great question.
What brought you to the table? And by the way, this is Ouachita One Table in the podcast studios of Louisiana Catalyst. I'm Christopher Kelly with the West Monroe West Ouachita Chamber, and I'm joined with my friend Roy Heatherly. And so, tell us more about that. What was that? What is that synergy like?
The first thing started with me and Josh Mitchell were doing Railroad Festival in Ruston. He was talking about doing it over in Monroe, and he was friends with this guy named Friday Ellis. And he told me, you need to come over there and talk to Friday and meet this guy. So over a table and a cigar, got to meet Friday and started dreaming and scheming and talking about the bigger picture of things and what we were going to do. And he was like, man, anything I can do to help, let me know. Now, this was way before any kind of political run or anything like that. This was early on, early 2019, when I was soliciting, trying to figure out how to grow the entrepreneurial ecosystem here, because we just had a very there's a lot of resources, but no one knew where they were and how to get to them.
So it's operating in silos, and it's an entrepreneurial desert.
Yes.
Is what we keep saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that's what started all this. So of course Friday's like, absolutely, so we loaded up in my truck and shot over to EAP and viewed their facilities and talked to them how they got started, what that looked like. Went down to Cohab over there, and that's how I met our state president, Larry Little. Actually was like, hey, you need to go meet Jim Moss. He's a musician, but he also had owned a business and sold it. He helped start Cohab. He now has the Andreas Art and Entrepreneurial Center in downtown Shreveport. So I met with him. Of course, all this inspiration. I'm like, man, we can do this, And so that was that original conversation. And when we came back, it's like, well, we'll just find a building to rent. So that's what led Eccles. Like, hey, Eccles, got some empty buildings. You want to, give us a shot? We'll probably fail, but give us an opportunity. So that's kind of all that. And we from the basically July, the thought of it. I had EAP come to the Union Parish Chamber luncheon to talk about services. To November, we were remodeling the building and opened in December. So it was about fast. 3 to 4 months, very fast. And Rick probably knows that's how I operate now. So I've been giving him a hard time because I don't know how to slow down.
But, entrepreneurship, So who was your mentor, though? Like, is there, why do you have this fire?
So I grew up, I graduated Louisiana Tech in management entrepreneurship. Okay. But I always wanted, so my grandmother has her own bookkeeping company. I grew up on Natchitoches on the Brick Road, going in and out of those shops. I drew and sold my artwork down there. She still does bookkeeping. Her birthday is Tuesday, and she'll be 92. Still doing bookkeeping, still getting around. So shout out.
That's great.
Yeah. But my dad, he was in the corporate world, decided that he wanted to do his own thing. He left, and for the last 25 years, he's been self-employed. So I grew up in that mindset of like,
this is an opportunity. Yeah. Nothing is off the table.
It's Absolutely. Your DNA.
Yeah. Anything can be done if you put your mind to it type mentality.
That's awesome. So catalyzing on this, what's the vision now? We're in the post-COVID time. You mentioned COVID shut you down, but now you're in the space. The paint is dry. The microphones are plugged in. So what's next?
So we have a very large regional approach. So our Louisiana Catalyst is actually a DBA. So it's actually the North Louisiana Growth and Development Foundation doing business with Louisiana Catalyst. So Louisiana Catalyst is really just one spoke of a bigger wheel that we're working on. So we're looking to come to Ruston. We've already been talking to the mayor, Ronnie Walker, and we've already been doing some initiatives there. We have a lot of initiatives in Farmerville that are going on with the Union Growth and Development Foundation. They have a business incubator, advanced manufacturing that's going on. Got $1 million grant for that facility. So we're helping coordinate that with them, with Glen Post, and a lot of the people in that community. So we're very regional with our mindset. We have a partnership with Cohab where if you have a membership here, if you're in Shreveport, you can use their facility, right? So we're very much like quit operating in silos. We are not that big.
Amen.
Like
Amen.
You will drown. You will drown in that deep end by yourself.
You're talking Uncle Roy's language right now.
So Quentin, let me ask you a question on that. So as you're saying all that, and as Chris's question, as you look down the road, define success for Louisiana Catalyst.
Yeah, so we want multi-locations, kind of like the Anytime Fitness of business, right? Where we have multiple locations. You have a membership, and so you're remote or mobile. You're regional. If you're in Ruston or Farmerville or Monroe or I'd love to go to Bastrop. I got a lot of clients and friends and a lot of inspirational people in Morehouse Parish and have these different offices where we have the podcast studios in each one. We have a conference room in each one. We have all those things needed where you can start your business. But past that, we also work with a lot of existing companies. So with my day job, working regional business development for Origin, I work with a lot of companies on what working training grants are available, what LEDs program, or like when PPP first came, I already was working with SBA, so we were kind of ahead of that process and had contacts and how that looked, so we were able to act quicker. So just what resources are available and how do we get them to the business, and from there, just be a catalyst, literally.
So again, it's just like our concept, which is removing those silos, bringing everybody to the table, and actively be part of that conversation. So, but I want to talk specifically about, you said we were given this space, but I think it's really important, the geography of where we are sitting right now. So talk about the relationship there, and why this is special.
Yeah, so, Friday was saying, hey, let's look at all the different facilities that we have, and we have a lot of unutilized space. So where can we go in and use? And so we looked on the map, and this was the spot that it is, south side of Monroe, right? So it's an area that is not being, everyone wants to think it's forgotten about. So, and I know that's kind of a mentality shift. And so it's like, okay, well, put us there, right? So I don't mind going where, if that's where the need is, that's where I want to be, right? And then we have so many different other programs that we're going to be rolling out that's going to fall in line with a lot of things from a music incubator and some other stuff. But that could be another podcast later down the road. But
it is true. And Chris and I, with both chambers, have been focused on different areas of the parish. South Monroe is one of them. And Chris can have a separate podcast on the workforce initiatives that he's doing that will help this area as well. But thank you for, I will say it, thank you, because this is critical to the growth of our community.
But being innovative, COVID taught us innovation is key. Technology is no longer unattainable. For once in our life, there is money and access out there for many, many programs. So I love that you're opening up your studio, opening up this opportunity to what otherwise could be an entrepreneurial desert for the South Side, right? So how do we, I'm going to steal Roy's question that he likes. What can we as the chambers do to help you? What voice do you need? What advocacy can we do?
The main thing is we want to also be a resource to y'all, right? So, and it's a partnership.
Believe me, you are already.
So if we have, let's say we have, and this is for all the chambers, right? Where you have a company and they have an issue. Where do they go? Well, you would hope they would come to y'all first, right? If they're active, because obviously chambers, and I think a lot of people don't understand, chambers are, you get out what you put in. So if you don't really get invested and work with the chamber, I'm not sure why the expectation is to get all these things on the backside. So you kind of got to be invested. But if you're invested with a chamber and you need something, so you make that phone call, hey, Chris, hey, Roy, this is my need. Okay, then
Sure.
y'all are like, okay, well, I'm not sure. Let me reach out to a few people. So if Catalyst can be one of those, so, oh, we're familiar with this, or we're familiar with this program, or we have a contact at LED and Business Services, or, EAP has digital, right beside them, digital media institution that does video game programming. So our awareness is statewide as well, just to help resources bring them back home, so to speak, and offer that in exchange when we do programs like the CEO Roundtable that we're working together. Bringing awareness of what is out there and just trying to get businesses involved.
Yeah, and I want you to just elaborate a little bit on, Catalyst, your relationship to some of those people that were in the original room, and who are you tapping now? You've got great resources. Who's next?
Well, so we just keep growing. Everybody that's been involved is still involved. So, I've reached out to Jeff Landry at Landry's Vineyard, like, hey, Jeff, if I ever have a situation where someone in that distribution area needs help, are you willing? He's absolutely. He's showed time and time again. I think there's literally a vineyard that's opening up across the street, and he's been helping them, right?
Yeah.
So I think everybody, there's a lot of people that understand that you can only slice the pie so many ways.
Right.
We got to grow the pie, so let's focus on, and in our marketing terms, like the rising tide lifts all boats, right? So let's focus on the tide and not the boats, and let's grow the industry and the business side of it more. So, we've reached out, with Glenn Post. I got a friend over at Lumen that's head of, customer experience, to, Eccles that has been helpful. So, we've tried, and we have a whole list of people in different industries and try to match you up with someone in your industry, but not in your area.
So mentoring, but working in an innovative way.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Quentin, I want to, you've heard, and we talked earlier today even about this buzz in the community, the new leadership in the community, and all those types of things. What you're doing, though, is something that's not been done here. And it is beginning to develop a different perception of our area. And so I know, Chris, we want to commend you for what you're doing, because you are filling a void, but you're also creating passions and pathways for people who might not have had that chance, and you're giving them those opportunities. And so that buzz, Louisiana Catalyst, Quentin Durr, and all the people, Rick Godley, everybody, you're part of that buzz. You're the ones that are creating that buzz. So thank you.
No problem. Well, we just appreciate everybody's been very supportive. And when we started, we did not want anyone to think we were coming to step on their toes, right? Or you weren't doing this right, so we're going to do this. So we went to everybody, from EAP to VC at SBDC to LED to anybody that was in the entrepreneurial.
Rounded up all the initials.
Yeah, said, hey, it's alphabet soup. We're here just as that fill-in gap if someone's lost, or we can handhold from one step to another.
Sure.
Because the follow-up, because everybody's struggling with funding, right? VC and them maybe have 3 people and cover 14, 15 parishes.
Right.
Workforce development probably even shorter. They're probably like 2 or 3 ladies maybe, and they're covering a bigger region. So it's a struggle to understand what's available, and then of course when you get online, it's just tough trying to navigate. So,
but speaking online, you have a website that if people want to use this facility. Let's talk about that. How do they find you? What can they access?
Yeah. So LouisianaCatalyst.com. We have a way to book the conference room or the podcast room. So you'll fill out the form there, submit. It'll kick it to us, and we'll reach out and help schedule. Make sure, for instance, on the podcast, do you need the post-production? Because that's part of this, right? You can't just record and walk away. So we have 2 setups. We have the one you see now, and then we have a much simpler version on iPads with Switcher Studio, which is a lot easier and more manageable, which is more cost-effective. So really trying to think through this of, okay, you can have that movie quality, or if you're just trying to get started and you want to budget friendly. So we have both setups we can do.
So it's accessible. There's a fee. What?
Yeah. So
cost.
Basically, there's if you're going to need Rick or somebody to run the switcher board, so you'll have to pay. There's an hourly fee for that.
Sure.
That's going to depend also too on what post-production stuff you need. So that's going to vary. So the best thing, come meet with us, talk to us what you have going on. It can be as simple as a $25 an hour deal, or if you're trying to get into I want logos and custom animated intros and all that. Of course,
scales from there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but to that point, Quentin, through your website, you said come talk to us. Through their website, can they set an appointment to come talk to you?
Yeah, so what they'll do when they submit that, they'll have their contact information that's going to come to us in a
Okay.
group email that we and then we reach out and set that up. Because I'm in Monroe, I'm usually a couple of times a week because I usually can make a triangle. I'll go from Ruston to Farmville to Monroe and back and forth and travel in between. So.
Well, thank you for what you're doing, and
Yeah.
thank you for fostering that entrepreneurship, especially in a geographic place that needs it. They need those mentors like that you had in your family, but they need those people that are standing up and being mentors. We're proud to partner with you.
Yes.
So,
and we will help any way we can too.
Absolutely. Well, I
so
appreciate
thank you
y'all.
for bringing those people to the table. Thank you for walking the walk that you speak.
Yeah.
Thank you. So breaking those silos apart is all that we want to do too. So this has been Ouachita One Table, a partnership of the West Monroe West Ouachita Chamber of Commerce and the Monroe Chamber of Commerce. I'm Christopher Kelly.
I'm Roy Heatherly, and we've been with
Quentin from Louisiana Catalyst.
Yep.
And we're so proud to have you. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Thank y'all.
You've been listening to Ouachita One Table with Christopher Kelly and Roy Heatherly. This podcast is a partnership project of the Monroe and West Monroe West Ouachita Chambers of Commerce and was produced by Godley Works Production in the Louisiana Catalyst podcast studios at the Benoit Community Center.